Hello and welcome to more IMBA Cup action. This time we got some losers bracket. One of these players is gonna be out of the tourney. The other one's gonna face Ubergeek. You have Armmagedon here starting first ground, playing the Seraphim. If you remember, Irma was first sent to the losers bracket by Eisen for round 1, but since then he has taken out Funkoff and Cola, so on a pretty good roll. He was taking on Zock, who did make it their first round, beating Pebble. However, then did get sent to the loser bracket by Lucian, and of course did beat Deathly in the loser bracket, so sent Deathly out of the tourney. And now we do see that he is going first ground as well. So it'll be UEF on Seraphim. You can see both players spamming power, absolutely no mask extractors yet. This is the Roses, a map where you have a ridiculous amount of mass to reclaim. It is a viable tactic not to make any mask extractors, but people usually don't risk it. In a long game you definitely will lose if you do that. See in the middle there are some civs, not too many mass spots. You see 4 mass spots in the middle. You see quite a bit all over the place, and of course 4 symmetric bases, so it'll be a fight over the bases to begin with. Still absolutely no air. We see second ground from Zock, and second ground looks like third air from Armmagedon. Both getting a lot of power. Still only one second mask extractor not coming up for Armmagedon, and now the first for Zock, and getting all land so far. You can see all these rocks. It's a lot of mass. So in this map, usually since it's so big, we're gonna get a little bit of teching, a little bit of air should be a little faster. It's already minute 3 and we still haven't seen any bombing, but drops on these maps, on these bases, are going to be very important. We see some Selines from Armmagedon. These are stealthy if they're left alone for a long time, and he has cover of both bases. You can see here NGs all along the ridges, all along the mountains, a lot of mass. You can see 4 NGs on a land factory spam for Zock. And the air factory here just making NGs. Still not too much in terms of attacking units, and now we do see a bomber from Zock, multiple bombers from Zock coming out. 420 perhaps will be the first bombs. You see more air factories from Zock. Right, here comes the bomber. It's going to go on a patrol. It's going to look for any NGs, getting some of this mass. Some multiple bombers. Here's another bomber. Another bomber is going to look for any drops. So far the air has been much stronger for Zock, although air for both players has been pretty late. We do see some singular ground troops, 4 tanks moving in from Armmagedon. So far no kills by Zock's bombers. They're just looking for things to kill, and interceptors for Armmagedon are coming out, plus some flak for Armmagedon, and those bombers are getting taken out. But so far it looks like this bottom base is going to be a pretty large battle. We see those few tanks that snuck in for Arma get taken out quite easily. We do see a drop now coming in for Zock into this expansion, bottom expansion. We already see T2 mass extractors from Armmagedon. Looks like it's going to be a massive air spam here. See a lot of plans for Armmagedon. We already see T2 from Zock. Looks like it's Tech 1 air, Tech 1 air, Tech 2 ground. As soon as he gets that power generator, you can just use that power to upgrade so much of your economy, because mass is really not an issue for either player here at minute 7. We do see a fight. It looks like Zock got a few more units in this area, but looks like air domination from Armmagedon. See if he can make it count. Not much action at all up on top. We do see a pretty massive force from Arma, so you should be able to take it. So here at 720, Arma has reclaimed 20,000. Zock at 17,000, very even. Zock at plus 1,000 power. Arma at plus 1,400. Looks like a slightly better eco for Arma so far, but actually there might be a pretty good fight for this bottom base. We see an establishment of a base here. Actually 7 kills for this PD, plus some factories, but this is a pretty large force here from Arma. If he micros it right, stops the arties, picks off this PD, this base is going to be dead for Zock. And on top it looks like more trouble for Zock. He does have pretty late drop here. but it should be found out pretty quickly by this massive air force from Armmagedon. So far, a much better air force from Armmagedon in this game, and in terms of ground, he is beginning to capture the map. You can see here it's going to be a lot of trouble for Zock. He's got some units trickling in, but the numbers advantage here at the base. We do see some Yoshivas in the field now. We gotta say, UEF might have an advantage later on with T3 with the Perseus. However, once it gets to the chickens, Seraphim definitely has the advantage if it gets that far. See T2 gunships now from Zock getting taken out by the Air Force, but a lot more planes not coming in for Zock. And Zock has T2 gunships plus air control here locally. It's going to be big trouble for Armmagedon. He did use his gunships to establish this base here, killed off that T1 force, but he will have to send these here to the bottom to get this base back. It looks like it's just going to be raiding with these T2 gunships from Zock. And actually he might lose these. Arma also has a pretty nice air spam. He also has a T2 air factory. Yeah, and these gunships are going to be taken out. And a nice push now here from Arma. Runs into some gunships. And this is interesting. Zock looks like he dropped off a few engines. He's going to reestablish a base. It's a very nice engines here from Zock on the bottom. It looks like Zock has a pretty massive T2 force here. A lot of pillars in this UEF force. This could be troublesome. Yoshua is looking for things to do. And a pretty massive T1 land spam in the beginning of the top base. So Zock definitely, it looks like, has map control that he got with those gunships, even though he did not win air supremacy. But now a lot of T2 mass extractors in danger with Arma pushing with his T1 forces. It looks like it is predominantly T2 now. It's going T3 for Zock. Plenty of T2 power. A pretty good looking base from Zock. Now we are going to see T2 force rolling in. It's going to be a pretty big battle here pretty soon. Now these Yoshuas got snuck through, but they're going to run into this PD. Interesting placement of a T2 PD. We see these T2 NGs on a loose for Zock. And these NGs right here are going to be a very big surprise for Armmagedon's units. Actually, they don't even get to be surprised. They get taken out by gunships. So gunships extremely powerful on this map. See Zock really retaking the advantage of these. Now we see a bigger air force from Armmagedon. Is going to take these out, and actually Armmagedon has T2 gunships of his own. Seraphim have excellent T2 gunships, and actually looks like this T2 force, these pillars, get overwhelmed by the Yoshivas. So here's a victory for Armmagedon here on the bottom, but we do see map control definitely in Zock's favor. Here at minute 13 we see Zock has reclaimed 58,000. Only 33 for Armmagedon, so having that map control and the NGs covering more of the map, definitely a big advantage for Zock. For example, all this mass here that perhaps Armmagedon could have had, now pretty much belongs to Zock. We are seeing T2 gunship spam plus actually going T3 with land for Armmagedon. We're sure to see T3 land here. We do see some Titans, pretty quick units. It's going to be a nice counter to the Yoshivas. And we do see some T3. It looks like a T3 NG. It's going to get some T3 anti-air. We do see multiple T2 air factories making gunships and air spam, but it looks like air spam is being won by Armmagedon, although he is flying over T2 flag here. And let's see how good these Seraphim gunships are. They are taking out mask extractors. And here come the Titans for UEF. They should be running into the Othams, although this so far is just T3 NGs, and the chicken being constructed by Arma. Looks like it's going to be an all-in with this chicken. He's going to really have to put his entire eco into that chicken. Actually, looks like it's going to be a victory for Armmagedon here on the bottom. Coming in with a nice Yoshua and T1 force. Actually, no Yoshua, this is purely T1. Not enough defense for Zock here on the bottom, but looks like plenty on top. Although these Yoshuas here, excellent Yoshuas, a lot of kills, 16 kills, 8 kills. Sneak here around, do a lot of damage. Now are actually going to have the potential to kill that Zock's base completely. So now we see Armmagedon actually winning back a lot of the map, and this chicken is now about a fifth of the way there. And now we did see a scout from Zock, so he must have already seen the chicken. So that should make Zock pretty nervous. He does, if his one option is to win air, he does have plenty of gunships here. He could take out that chicken, although if this chicken has a nice flak escort, it doesn't look like too much T2 flak is being produced. And actually it looks like not too much air at all for Armmagedon. Well, there is a little bit, but he needs a lot more to counter what Zock has created. A massive T2 gunship squadron. Just basically gets free shots. That's really the power of the Air Force here, shown by Zock. It's all T1, T2 here. We are seeing some T2, T1 battles. This chicken is now a third of the way done for Armmagedon. Flak should be produced in large numbers by Armmagedon, given what he just saw happen. And now you can see it's total domination. A couple flaks here and this entire gunship force would just get smashed. Doesn't look like that's the case. And now we are seeing Armmagedon's base completely undefended. We do see a couple of T2 flaks coming in. And actually they are being quite effective. Just T2 flaks just took out quite a few of those gunships. And actually only 3 gunships left for Zock. Get taken out by some interceptors. So minimal losses really for Armmagedon here. A pretty massive T1, T3 force with shields coming into the base. And this chicken is now nearly complete. And this is really what Armmagedon needs as soon as possible to have any kind of chance. We do see these really big vets for Armmagedon not doing their job. They could finish off that entire base, but now it looks like some gunships coming in to take that out. See Armmagedon protecting his base with his ACU, taking on some T3. This chicken should be completed very soon. Guess now the question is, what do you do once you get that chicken? And this could be dangerous for Armmagedon. This is a T1 ACU taking on T3. There is a little bit of support for, perhaps if Zock focused on Armmagedon's ACU, he could have killed him right there, but now the chicken has been completed and will get Zock to retreat. But now we are seeing T3 strat bombers coming in, and Zock really, while Armmagedon made that chicken, Zock made T3 air. And we just saw T3 air beats chickens on this map. And in general, the person with the better air of this game, which was definitely Zock with these gunships, took control of the map and then won the game. So hopefully people enjoyed it. So now it's going to be Zock versus Ubergeek in the next round.